And we are live. The SMT Podcast, November 18th, 2020 edition of the show. Dude, we got an episode today. All right, we got stuff hot off the press. All right, we got stories at a Dish. We got stories at a AT&T. We got this whole speculative concept of charging money for fast 5G. Bro, it's going to be a good show. I got tons of good energy to put into it. I feel good. I have a Gatorade, so I'm going to be hydrated. You feel me? Let me introduce my guest. I got Zero Cool RF here, man. He's the homie.
Yeah.
Been here. He's been a part of the community, supporting us and contributing. So thank you for being here. And then we have the Moose. He is on the loose. He's down here. Moose, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you coming through and hanging out with us.
Oh yeah,
that's right, buddy. That's right. And he's doing double duty. He's on the NBA draft action right now. So LaMelo Ball just got picked. He's going to Charlotte. Guarantee they're begging for a trade to get him over to LA by the end of the night. Guaranteed, bro.
We'll take that.
Yeah. So I need to make sure that I cover the main topics, at least 3 things tonight. The Dish situation with the FCC, and there's some information that I have obtained that is important that this comes out, and the reason why it's all going to make sense is going to make some people pretty aggravated and mad. But I have said time and time again, I do not like our FCC. I don't care. They don't scare me. Carriers don't scare me. They don't know if that I even exist, so it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, there is some stuff in this story that is going to come to light eventually. And I think now we have a few of those pieces in place where it all makes sense. The AT&T story from Elliott Management, that's going to be on the show tonight. I actually think that's a bigger deal than some people do. Some people are saying it's no big deal. I just think it's a big deal because I think it highlights their debt issues. People don't remove hundreds of millions of dollars out of a company unless they don't see things changing soon. So I'm going to give my opinion on that. And we've got a couple other talking heads here that'll give their opinion. So you guys don't just have to hear me. You can hear some people that are sensible, not, me just going off on a rant. So, so we'll talk about that. And then we're going to speculate. I truly believe that based on T-Mobile's trajectory and the need to become a more serious carrier nationally, I think this is inevitable. I believe that a fast 5G add-on is a strong possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen, and I feel like it should happen because somehow, some way, they're going to have to generate the revenue to build out this network. The projected $9 to $10 or $11 billion annual capex to build out, 2.5, it's just not going to get it done. We watch Verizon annually spend the most. We've seen T-Mobile, AT&T basically spend $50 billion in the last 2 years. And even they have still not surpassed Verizon in coverage. They're approaching them, but they're still not passing them. So I have my reasons for it. We'll kind of talk about it. I actually want to talk about it from the network side, and then I want to talk about it from the retail side, how it will be branded. Again, all speculation. This is just Sneed thinking aloud and talking through how it could work from a logistics standpoint. And again, I have Zero Cool RF, and I got Moose to help keep me on the rails because I go all over the place with these things. So I think we should start actually first with the Elliott Management thing. So the reason why I want to start with the Elliott Management thing is because, like, the community, all the people that watch my channel often will watch other channels too that cover similar topics. Tyrone from Tech Life, Hector from Tech Extremist. Those are both, guys that, we've had on the show. They're friends of the show and all that. We have conversations all the time. And we all kind of see it a little bit differently. Okay, so I watched Tyrone's, take on it. And actually, Tyrone is here. This is tremendous. Tyrone, what's up, bro? If you there, you got sound?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear, Tyrone. Good to have you, man.
Yes, sir.
What up, Tyrone?
All right. We're gonna start with the Elliott Management story, man. We're gonna talk about this investor side of AT&T. So I just want to kind of give my opinion, and I don't know, man. I don't know how right I am. I don't know how accurate my take is. We never know these things because we're not in these management meetings. But I was saying that I thought that the Elliott Management situation, how they pulled their money out of the company, I think it was like $151 million. To me, that's a big lump sum to lose at once, right? The company basically said, we need change at this company right now. We need a new CEO. We need to get this one out. He crippled this company. He accrued $150 billion in debt with 2 transactions, $100 billion with Time Warner, and then an additional 60 some billion in DirecTV because they had 20 billion in debt and the company itself was sold for 47 billion. So it was like $160 billion. They got rid of him very quickly. He retired early, right? That's a kind way of, somebody telling you to go F yourself, right? So they got rid of him, and then they brought in John Stankey, and his sole purpose since he's been there has been to reduce and shed debt. And he's been trying, and it's obvious since January, every cost-cutting measure has been exercised. They've laid off thousands. They've shut down stores. They've changed the way stores are run. They've done a lot of things to save money and spending. And then, of course, the pandemic happens. That makes things more complicated. They raised pricing. They shut down DSL. They're focusing on fiber. They did the HBO Max thing. There's so much going on at AT&T, right? So they've made moves. I actually think sometimes AT&T is more interesting than T-Mobile in a way. Like T-Mobile's louder. T-Mobile's, more flamboyant. They're more of a presence on Twitter. But the honest truth is there's more going on at AT&T when you think about all the spider webs, right? Like I know T-Vision and home internet. That's cool. But AT&T has more. Like there's more things going on. It's a bigger company. But I just want to say from the Elliott Management side of things, they came in, they blew it up. They forced the new CEO. They got the new CEO, all this cost-cutting measures, and it wasn't enough. They pull their money out. Q3, they sell all their shares, and they're gone. 151 million. Now they're selling it to somebody, so somebody obviously is going to have these shares. But I think I know why they sold, and this was a total power move. They told AT&T, you must do a stock buyback, right? And they couldn't do it because of the pandemic. And that was a total power move because what they wanted to do was sell their shares anyway. If they would have got that, the stock buyback, those shares would have been valued higher. They would have just made more money. They would have sold anyways. So I truly believe Elliott was on its way out regardless. It was just a power move to get Stanky in, or Randall out, and then they were going to sell anyways. But it's indicative that they truly believed that AT&T was not ascending. Like the debt is going to be so crippling that it was going to affect wireless in the future, the ability to bid on C-band. Like it's almost as if they were saying, we at Elliott Management believe it's either shaving debt or C-band, and it can't be both. You know what I'm saying? Like you had to pick one. So I just want to give my take on it. Moose, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Zero Cooler F, you can go next, and Tyrone, since you kind of came in last, we'll just go in that direction.
So the investment that Elliott did into AT&T in 2019 was $3.2 billion, right? And that signaled a lot of different things. One of them is the reputation that Elliott Management has is they go into a company, they force changes in the company. For example, Twitter. They have invested in Twitter. They've invested in various other companies, and they force changes. Some really good, but always in the best interest of the stock. Keep that in mind. It's always in the best interest of the stock because their primary interest is to get a big return on investment for their constituents, which are they're a management company, right? People pay into their company. They give them, let's say, $1 million to invest that will give them the best rate of return. If in a year the return is not good enough, and if in 1 year you're not going to be getting the best rate of return, you're going to pull out regardless. So you're absolutely right, Sneed, when you said that the train of thought was you do a stock buyback, the stock goes miraculously up, right? Because you're reducing the amount of shares. So less supply means higher price, right? In terms of stock. And then they sell, making a big return in a short period of time.
Yeah, I really believe that they were selling either way.
Yeah.
Stock buyback or not, they were out. They were just trying to turn and flip it. Right.
Now, in terms of if you ever have a chance to read the actual Elliott letter, right? You can see it in various different ways on the internet. There's a lot of good points that they do make, right? That they signal to the board of directors that, hey, you got to fix X, Y, Z, Q, A, B, C, D. There's so many different things, right? And they even mentioned that they interviewed a lot of previous employees, like high executives. So this was not just stuff that they've seen from the outside in. They saw it from the inside out as well. So this is really interesting, right? That in actually in 12 months, they would pull out. But it put the company in a very positive direction, right? And what I mean by that is that look at mobility, right? Q3 2020 killed it, right? Q4 2020 seems to be another repeat. It's enabled various moves that have been unprecedented in years past, right? We have the existing customer promotions, right? That's new. We have more investment into the network. There's definitely divesting parts of the business that don't make sense anymore. That's always good to hear when you just have assets that you can't make money on. But in terms of the Elliott management from just a holistic sense, was it a positive or a negative? It was a positive. It's not, in my opinion, it's not that big of a deal because they only had 1% of the stock. Keep that in mind, right? They only owned 3.2 billion. They only owned 1% of the stock. So it was not like they had a board seat and then they exited, right?
Right. But Brian, what I think is we have not seen this happen yet. This was the first of such event under these conditions. So considering the debt situation, this is the first time we've seen the withdrawal of such a cash amount.
Well, keep in mind also that in the earnings call for Q3, the CFO John Stevens mentioned that they have done a lot of great moves in terms of the accounting so that they position themselves better for the short term and better for the long term in terms of short-term investing, long-term debt. So they've repositioned debt for 2040, 2050.
That's
so
right.
It's enabled them to be ready for the C-band auction.
That's the critical thing. That's the most important thing because the one business element that is without a doubt the buttering for the bread is the wireless. You could say what you want about HBO Max. You could say that it has great potential. We could talk about the potential value of CNN. Some are saying 10 billion. All that's fine and dandy, but the wireless is here to stay and it's a winner. And they've always been able to thrive in wireless, even without really trying. It's always been there for them.
No, of course. I think it was more of a refocus going 110 on the wireless side. Because remember, I always say this to people, John Donovan was the real reason why AT&T was not as successful.
Wow.
John Donovan was not as successful because he did not put the right people in the right place. He just put his allies in the right place. Let's be real here. Okay. He had his buddies go to the top seats, and then they're all yes men.
Okay, do you think there are still people at AT&T from the John Donovan era?
Very few.
Very few.
Very few. And we're talking top levels. Very few John Donovan people. But going back to that, John Donovan did, and I talk to this with Tyrone all the time, John Donovan did one critical thing that is helping for the long term, which was the virtualization of the network. The virtualization of the network gave runway so that you can go in, do the one-touch solution, boom. And Zero Cool RF can go into that further because he knows that is one of the milestone pieces of John Donovan's tenure.
All right, Zero Call RF, your go, buddy.
Yes. So I mean, it's wireless. I agree with a lot of what Mr. Moose said. Like the wireless business has always been, the staple of AT&T. It's always what they look to for revenue streams, for good quarter growth, right? And when a investor such as Elliott Management pulls out, to me, even though they only own a very small fraction of their stock, that signals to me, not just them as an investor, but other investors, don't really look at this company that's debt laden. It scares people away, especially investors. So, it's I do think what they did was right to say, hey, you need to shave your debt, redo the company structure, make it leaner.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, for them to pull out, it's almost as if they're saying, you didn't do enough. They can't do both ways. They can't have the C-band auction and continue to try to shave debt. It's and especially this short of time, right?
Oh, December.
We're up against the gun, right? We're trying to say, I can guarantee you they're probably like a lot of war room meetings saying, how much can we spend? What else can we shave off? What else can we go put towards this auction?
What can we sell?
What can we sell? How are we going to compete against Verizon? And keep in mind, their CFO, John Stevens, is retiring in March. Here we go, March 2021. So a new CFO has taken over. This just shows, what they've been doing in this short time has not been enough.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's a mega hole. You know what I'm saying? Zero Cool.
It's a huge hole. It is. Yeah, it is. But it's just, we live in it seems to me like we live in a fast-paced wireless world with network advancements, technology, 5G. But the thing to me that has always been slow turning, it kind of takes like the most time to take pace and to like see like a different company, a leaner company, is the finances, right? How fast can they move?
Right.
And that's the name of the game. So,
Tyrone, if you are ready, sir.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm just trying to see if I can articulate this all.
Start with one thing and then go from there. Let it ride.
So I think what we discovered over the last few days is that Elliott Management pulled out sometime in Q3. The recent scoops that Charles Gasparino posted could hint that there's another investor already knocking on the board of directors doors. They are asking for a change in CEO and to bring back Ed Whitaker. So this is very interesting because if you are now going to partake in AT&T as an investor, you absolutely have to think long term. There's just no way that AT&T is going to shave off $150 billion in debt short term. That's not going to happen. I don't care what they sell. People are already saying they may face antitrust issues with the CNN sale, depending on who's going to buy it. So you have to be long term in AT&T if you are now coming in as an investor. And Moose makes a good point. The other day we listened in on a meeting, and the CFO did state that they restructured the financing to make them attractive again to pull out a loan if needed from the banks. But looking at it from that aspect, are the investors going to like them going into more debt? So it just seems AT&T is willing to go into more debt to get C-band, but you still have to look at the investors as well and satisfy them. And it seems that they're not ready or willing for the company to go into more debt to buy the C-band spectrum. I think that's going to throw off the investors big time, and more investors may pull out if they have to say, you know, go into debt 20, 30 more billion short term just to get that spectrum that's critical to keep the wireless side thriving in the 5G space. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of confusion going on. Like I said, Elliott pulled out in Q3, so that happened weeks back. Charles Gasparino just pulled out a scoop, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, stating that maybe another investor's already knocking on the doors asking for a new CEO after Stanky's just been in office 5 months.
I have to throw something in here real quick about Charlie Gasparino.
Yeah.
For those of you out there who follow Charlie Gasparino, I don't mean to cast aspersions about Charlie Gasparino, but I would caution you to pump the brakes on some of his stories. He's not as tuned into the wireless telecom as he lets on. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. He does a lot on Fox. He does a lot when it comes to mergers, business. I get it. He's not as tuned in to telecom as he lets on. That's all I wanted to say is so if he has news and he's breaking it and all that, that's fine and dandy. Just wait until certain things come out to finish the stories, because I've seen that happen, and I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're definitely right. I just think the fact that he put it out there, there's of course something there. He's not just saying that.
Sure.
He's on the bigger stage. But yeah, definitely. I mean, him saying Ed Whitaker, I talked to Moose about it. I mean, this guy is like 80 years old. He was a previous CEO for AT&T when they first broke up.
We're talking 1980 something.
Yes.
Early 80s.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Apparently he was the man. I mean, he had AT&T running very good. So that's why I guess the board of directors are asking for him back.
I'm pretty sure Whitaker was the guy who wrote that letter that's up at AT&T headquarters. I don't know if have you heard or seen that letter before, Tyrone?
I'm sure Moose has. I haven't seen it.
So rumor has it. I mean, I think this has actually been confirmed. There's a letter, and I think it's from Whitaker, and it has something to do with the government thinks they can tell us how to run our business, and we don't answer to like government regulations or something. Well, listen, they've been consuming companies and monopolizing since 1873. All right, well, let's go back to the, American Telephone and Telegraph Company, right? So, Alexander Graham Bell and the original Bell Company. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in there. I think that was probably handwritten by him or something.
Right.
Right.
I should mention this, right? When somebody says bring back somebody who's almost 80 years old, there's specific I should say internal processes in most companies that you can't be a CEO at that age, because it could affect, if you die, it could affect the stock price. That's basically what I'm saying, So to say, some people might be saying bring back a ex-CEO that was successful. It's just not going to happen. It's never going to happen. Is Stanky the right guy? Who knows? We don't know. Give him time. He's not even done a full year.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That if you're investing into the company, you have to think long term. There's nothing going to happen short term at AT&T right now. Nothing.
No.
Yeah. So this is, for those of you out there familiar with investment in telecom, now that Sprint's gone, it's really like you're not in. I don't know who's investing in Dish at this point in time, but if you are, okay, there's 4, but AT&T and Verizon pay dividends, and very handsome ones. These are returns and investment for even just the common investor. T-Mobile does not. These are companies that are older, have been around forever. They are safe investments that belong in a long-term portfolio. That's why I thought the Elliott Management thing was a little strange. I really did.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think they pulled out too soon, to be honest. I think there might have been something even bigger that happened. Maybe they needed the money.
I was going to say, where are they moving that money to? It's going somewhere.
They might move it to another investment that they feel more. There's just, like I said, that right now there's literally no light at the end of the tunnel for AT&T. It's really a risky investment if you look at it from an overall standpoint. We have no clear strategy on media yet. We don't know really what's happening with the C-band. I mean, we can speculate and put out ideas, but we don't know if AT&T is going to come in and spend $25 billion. We won't know until March, roughly.
Yeah.
Right. I think Elliott Management should at least waited till after the C-band action to make a decision. But too late.
No. I mean, AT&T just announced that they're going to put Wonder Woman 1984 on HBO Max same time as it launches in the theaters.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a huge opportunity right there. Create unique opportunity for HBO Max.
Sure. Hey, No Radio, good to see you. Lavendi says, Elliott Management just made a big investment in F5 networks. They do load balancers, VPN, etc. So that's in tech.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
All right. Well, I feel like we covered that pretty good. I mean, we did have the, we covered the stories. Tyrone, you covered it a couple days ago or something. I covered it yesterday, maybe. I think also Hector covered it as well. So we've covered it pretty good. Kind of put a bow on it then. All right, let's transition over to. Do you guys want to do the 5G thing, the add-on potential, or do you guys want to do the dish thing with the spectrum with the FCC?
Man. Oh man.
What do you guys want to do? I need. You guys we got to flip a coin. I mean, what's it gonna be?
Let's go with the dish.
All right, let's do the dish one first. We got some energy, man. Let's do it, bro. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the story as it's built as an article through Fierce Wireless, okay? A lot of people follow that outlet for news. I mean, it's pretty much when it comes to like, I don't know, wireless, FCC, spectrum auctions. I mean, they're the go-to for a lot of that stuff. So a lot of the information that we get as the regular consumer or the network enthusiast, that's where we go. All right, so here's the story from Fierce. Dish may have to relinquish $3.3 billion worth of spectrum. All right, so we're getting fancy with the vocabulary here. The vernacular relinquish means give back. All right. Okay, so the FCC, in a private ruling, has concluded that Dish improperly received $3.3 billion in discounts on spectrum licenses, according to Fox Business Charlie Gasparino. If true, Dish may have to relinquish $3.3 billion worth of spectrum. So that's how the story is framed. It's framed as Dish did something wrong. Here's where things get hairy. If you go back to the discounts, they date back to 2015 for this AWS-3 spectrum. Now, the discount itself is a 25% discount. It's done through a designated entity program. That means that a designated entity can bid and get bid credits because they're small businesses. So because they don't scale like the big companies, they're giving them discounts so they can afford to get in while the getting is good. Okay. Dish took advantage of this program by using North Star Wireless and SNR Wireless to bid on its behalf. North Star and SNR reported having less than $15 million in revenue. So they're saying, here are these two companies, Dish was doing business through them to get those discounts. So that's what they're saying. The story from like Gasparino and what's being released here through Fierce Wireless is that Dish owning North Star, and SNR means that they are not qualifying for those discounts because Dish is a big company. They're not a small company. So this would mean that Dish would pay the full cost of those licenses or pay back the government after it's rebid. So here's the thing. The way I see this is there's a time issue here. This thing was sitting for a long time, like almost 3 years from what I understand, with no ruling and no judgment. What is going on there? What's the problem? Is this really an issue about Dish and the Spectrum or the FCC? Because the way I see it is people are now speculating if this were to get re-auctioned, Verizon's going to get it. And I think we're all pretty confident is that Verizon they'd outbid anyone. This is Spectrum. Look, I got to share the Spectrum with you guys. Okay, so Caleb or Zero Cooler F, thank you for, letting us know what's going on here. I got the thing. I'm going to do the share screen because this is important. It gives you an idea of the scale. All right, so here we go. Okay, can you guys see that? We good? All right, I can make this a little bit larger. Okay, so the AWS-3 Spectrum from Dish, the reason why it has value is because of its spectrum frequency, bandwidth, and the fact that it's a paired spectrum application. So if you look in all these areas that are yellow, that's 10 megahertz. All the areas that are green, that's 20 megahertz. And there are some areas that are purple. And in those purple areas, that's 30 megahertz. So if you were to look at this spectrum and say, wow, that's very valuable. Look at these markets that would have at least 10 megahertz, 20, and even 30. They're in pretty key areas, right? They're pretty good. But what does Verizon already own in these areas is also another situation that we would monitor, right? Like, how would they be able to leverage this? And that's why everybody's all up in arms about this. What's the potential for Verizon? How do they win in this? Like, they want this, right? So I'll start with I guess Zero Cooler F, man. Your take.
I think I don't know. I just think Dish, they misused it. They made two errors. One, they bid it like a small company through the small companies, and two, they didn't deploy the spectrum, and they didn't, and they failed to meet FCC obligations, right? Because they're a big company now, and it's just, I could see this going one of two ways. Either they're going to go in court about it, or it's going to end up getting rebid. Now, I think I want to highlight, I don't really see this going to court because they're under contractual obligation. So meaning the FCC can just put this at an upcoming auction. They have every legal and obligated right to do so, being since the spectrum was not used in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, but the problem is, why is this a story now? There's a huge gap in time so this was in 2015. It's now 2020. Why is this a story now? There's something fishy about Ajit Pai and the FCC sitting on this ruling, and also the ruling is private. Why was this not at their open meetings recently? Why did the judge shove this back?
Yeah.
This judge shoved it back to the FCC. What is going on here?
Yeah, the reason why the judge did that is because they call that a deferred decision, right? So this just plays in the FCC's hands. Again, I think they're just going to, like I said, they have the legal right to re-auction the spectrum at the highest bid, just like how a normal auction would work, to either Verizon or AT&T's benefit. Most likely this benefit Verizon. The AWS-3 spectrum holdings at Dish would be extremely complementary. They'd have continuous spectrum if Verizon were to purchase this. They would have a nationwide 30 up to 40 megahertz nationwide if Verizon were to get the spectrum if it goes to auction. I think yeah, that's correct, Zach. Yeah, I remember Verizon actually complaining about this, and I think I can pull up an article about that. They complained just due to the rates that they got on the spectrum, right? You know, it's like your, you know, the big telcos, you know, they don't get any discounts, right? So when a company like Dish, you know, it's kind of like laundering money, right? If that's pretty much what it is. And if it, you know, if a company, you know, has to you know, go through some smaller shell companies and not
but
use
Verizon's done this too, though. I've seen Verizon do this.
I think it depends on the actual auction, how it's set up, right? They do go through what's called like an RSA, like RSA partnerships to get their spectrum, right? That's a little bit different than what has happened here. Reason being is because number one, the discounts that were involved, and number two, the way that the AWS3 auction was set up versus the bigger players when they got to bid on this. And that's why Verizon complained about it. I can definitely see. I don't see this going to court, and if it does go to court, I see the FCC winning. I think if Verizon were to get this, it would definitely be a game changer in the mid-band range. So I am rooting for Verizon on this matter.
Zero Cooler F. I think I've disagreed with you finally for the first time ever. This is the first time ever. I mean, we've agreed on so many things in the past. I disagree, like to the highest order. And the reason why I say that, like what you're saying makes sense. There's your logic is perfect, but we have a FCC problem here. This, I'm telling you, if this is like this is tucking skeletons into the closet, and I really feel like the reason why this has not come out till now is the FCC, and I specifically Ajit Pai, who I have aggressively attacked as being ineffective and not helping anybody but himself. Has never done anything right for the general public in wireless and telecom. Bro, mid-band spectrum is the lifeblood of 5G. It has been the lifeblood of advanced LTE. And this has not been put to market because of the FCC.
I'm gonna disagree, but it's because that's the whole reason for this. It's like about putting that spectrum to market. Dish really hasn't, you know, and and that's why this is coming up. You know, if you think about what do Verizon and you know, AT&T do, especially Verizon, every time they're going to go for like a spectrum auction, they always put in, you know, STAs, which are special temporary authorities, to do test cases on test spectrum that they think about bidding for auction and actually putting to use. Think about what they did with their CBRS, right? Okay. I'm siding with the FCC on this because they know that they need to put this AWS3 spectrum to better use. I'm siding with them because they know that Verizon's going to do it, and that's why I'm siding with the FCC. Sorry, man. Because think about it.
The FCC is wrong. What you're saying is right. This is an FCC problem, bro. I'm telling you, this problem is Ajit Pai stank all over it.
It kind of makes you wonder if they offered at discounts because they knew that Dish was going to do this from the jump.
Moose, jump in, man. Go ahead.
Well, the way that I see it, man, is we have a very unique situation. So, as we know, next month is the the C-band auction, and this news is not breaking because I Googled it. Man, since 2015, we've been talking about the same thing. It's just that nothing's happened regarding this. So I personally believe that Dish is not going to effectively utilize the spectrum. Let's just be completely honest here. This would be much better in the hands of another operator. You know, whether it's Verizon or you know, even utilizing it for private LTE or private 5G. That could be an option too. But if I was to, say, giving it to Verizon, that'd be actually in the best interest of everybody, because then you can have contiguous spectrum. You could even do some spectrum swaps. That's the key too, guys. You could do spectrum swaps. So spectrum swaps, for people who don't know, is, let's say you have band 66 in 2 separate slices because they're separated between somebody else's spectrum, right? But then you can swap the spectrum so you can have contiguous spectrum. So 5x5 here, 10x10 here, boom, 15x15. And that's better for everybody, So lots to consider here. I would love for Verizon to have it, to be completely honest with you. Even if they pay for it, give it to them. I would rather another operator who already has that spectrum deployed easily retune the radios, and you can pop that into DSS, boom, you're up and running.
Exactly. Sneed, you have to take a look at this from an RF engineering perspective. What spectrum is already out in the market? What spectrum is utilized?
AWS, PCS.
And what spectrum can be used in the future for DSS? Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. These would we know that they like to see the 20 plus megahertz channel size for DSS. This probably puts Verizon closer to 40 in most markets, or 30,
right.
35
30 to 40,
in most.
30
Right.
to 40.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think all national carriers have this at the core of the network, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. So how much?
Dude, you can't deny if you see 40 megahertz of AWS in your Verizon phone, you can't. That's gonna put a smile on your face, like you're smiling right now.
Yeah, because that's median downlink speed of 100 megahertz under 100 megabits per second under all conditions.
Yeah. Yes. At least 100.
National.
At least.
National.
Minimum. Yes.
National.
Yes.
Like we're talking
now
about.
You're thinking
because they've they've got a tower site every mile and a half.
Yes. Yes.
That already has band 66 up everywhere, band 4, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir.
I've always joked. I mean, I'm glad to see that T-Mobile now has some weaponry, but I always joked that the real network, today's networks, the real network that was ready for 2.5 national was Verizon's.
Right. Yep.
Because of the tower grid, and that's how I looked at it. I'm not saying I want Verizon to get it. T-Mobile's a legit competitor now because they have the potential with the network. So, I'm just saying that was, to me, the dream network to get it would have been Verizon because of the tower sites, right? So, all right. Good times. The last story. This one's good. Everybody get your popcorn ready out there. Get your pink thongs and your tutus. Everybody
magenta shades.
I know. Before you guys start throwing spears at me and stuff, just hear me out a little bit here, okay? Just hear what I have to say before you start mouthing off in the live chat. All right. I believe that based on the new T-Mobile's business approach, I feel like there's a lot of things that, we wish we could be behind those closed doors. We wish we could be at those meetings, hear what they're talking about from the financial side of things. I personally believe that based on the T-Vision, the home internet prospects, the concept of going national with mid-band 5G, large channels that are very fast and have a lot of capacity, and the fact that they want to do a lot of these home internet connections, they want to do a lot of the TV connections, you're going to need a strong network to do it, which means you need a very redundant network, like very dense tower grid, high amounts of capacity where your channels are wider, right? And a lot of carrier aggregations, configurations. Where I'm getting at is this is going to be an expensive investment to make your network capable of doing all these things. So I personally think it is realistic to expect, at least consider the possibility that at some point T-Mobile will adopt a $10 add-on, some kind of a premium add-on feature for fast 5G. I'm just calling it that. It's a made up name. This is completely arbitrary. The name is, it could be 55GG. I don't know. I'm just whatever. It's going to be the N41 connectivity that they're going to charge their customers for as an add-on to their pre-existing plan. So it would be something like you have the essentials plus fast 5G. You would have the magenta plus fast 5G. You would have the magenta plus add on the fast 5G. It would be N41 80 megahertz channel when it goes standalone, maybe 100 megahertz when it's available, or how they do it. I really feel like that's a possibility where they could leverage a very high capacity connection that they could legit charge for, and people would be like, wow, I was on regular essentials last month. Now I got the 5G add-on, the fast 5G add-on, and now my uplink speeds, my downlink speeds, the capacity is there. I'm doing quad HD video, no restrictions. It's almost worth it to get it because it would keep you from any form of deprio as long as you're connected to N41, right? And it's essentially what Verizon tried to do with millimeter wave as a $10 add-on, right? So, and the reason why I don't think it's unreasonable and the reason why I think it's okay that T-Mobile did this is because I think it allows them to continue to finance the build without changing the core of the business. They're still going to give you N71 access, 600 megahertz and stuff like that, but it will facilitate them to be able to build out more rapidly, to finish their build out sooner. I mean, there's more details that it would take, obviously. Like, I'm thinking to myself, how do they do this from a network standpoint? You obviously need a network, some sort of a pseudo network slicing to this, because it becomes like an add-on feature to a plan or an account. I don't know. What do you think, Zero Caller F? Tell me about this, man. What do you think?
I fully support a move like this. I really do. This will do a couple things. It will definitely lead to network investment for network builds, tower modernization projects, stuff like that, right? So this is a great move. It's a great way to make money and put capex back in the network, right? Because the customer says, I make money. Okay. The other thing I could see this is that this is a huge upsell for T-Vision, right? You got all these customers. Well, hey, you want the best T-Vision experience? Boom, we got a $10 add-on for you that's going to get the best capacity on the network. A great T-Vision experience for your household. And I could see, these playing in hand, especially in metro markets like Dallas, Los Angeles, New York. I even supported Verizon's move when they did this. So I think this is great. I think this is a good move from T-Mobile if they decide to do this.
Moose, come on in.
Well, the issue is going to be, it can't be a pseudo network slicing. It has to be a legit network slicing to monetize the network further. Keep in mind, when we say monetizing the network, we're talking about pulling more money from the customers, right? Because that's the only way that you'll have additional cash flow. So one of the things they've done, right, for cash flow reasons, they've increased the service fees, right? All service fees are up. They've reduced salaries. How? By firing people. Hiring new people is cheaper. Okay, that reduces the amount of costs, operating expenses. If you increase with a fee, or hypothetically, let's say there's a Magenta plan, Magenta Plus, and Magenta Ultra plan, and the Ultra plan is $10, $15 extra, but it includes T-Vision or whatever. Let's say whatever it is, right? Whatever add-on, but it's in a significant increase, right? That difference will be how they put more money into the network.
So they would be doing it hand in hand with a secondary service.
I would do it that way. I mean, if I'll put it like this, just purely on network, a consumer is going to get confused. It's hard to sell the network when it's like, oh, QCI 6, QCI 7, QCI, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
We
that's
don't know
true.
what that means. Normal consumers don't
Right.
know what that means.
Mhm.
So the way that you bundle it or you slide it in, right, is, hey, by the way, you're going to get the fast lane and you're going to get T-Vision, like the $40 plan included, or what, whatever it is, right?
Right.
Tyrone, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think a few points here that Sneed pointed out. Redundancy is very important here, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But I think based on the current video stream cap, as aggressive as it's become, I think they can just charge you $10 extra to go to 4K. For they get the 4K quality, they can just say, hey, look, to go from 1080p to 4K, we're going to charge you an extra $10. So there's definitely ways to monetize the customer. And me and Moose talked about this, I think about a year ago or so, that carriers are thinking about starting to monetize latency, 5 milliseconds, 3 milliseconds. So there's several ways on how to monetize this, but just one thing that I want to throw in there in terms of the redundancy, that is very important. And I think T-Mobile could potentially be playing with fire here because of the recent network outages that we're still seeing. If you have T-Mobile as your main provider of cellular, and you are familiar with their customer service, and you now sign on to the home broadband and T-Vision, if there is an outage now in your area, not only is your cell phone down, now your home broadband and your TV is down as well. So now you're going from one product to 3 products that could potentially not work if you do not have the redundancy built into the network.
And Tyrone, you were also mentioning that another way that carriers are looking to save money is closing retail stores.
Yes.
That's a huge money saver.
Or selling it off to authorized retailers.
Another huge money saver.
Wow. So, if we circle back to the way that this would have to be operated and sold, so if you were to bundle it in a package with a video resolution bundle, a gaming bundle, a latency bundle, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to create some kind of a value proposition by paying for it. How are you going to market that? Like, does it become a name? Are they going to brand the add-on? Are they going to brand that feature set?
Super 5G.
Right, like are they going to put the Reptar dinosaur up there from the Neville tweets? They're going to put the Rugrats, up there, because obviously it's going to need a network core component, right?
Yep.
So it's going to have to be a slice in and of itself, and then it's going to have almost like its own segment on the bill, right? It's got to have an identifier, because all we keep hearing from T-Mobile is 5G for all, 5G for all. That could be everybody gets 600 megahertz, low band 5G. So, but we have not heard them emphasize anything about 5G for all relative to mid-band 2.5 gigahertz. It's just fast, fast, fast. Look how fast it is. Look at 600 megabits. They keep advertising, promoting people's tweets. They don't promote my tweets. I tweeted Neville the other day a picture of the 2 tower sites in Sandusky. I didn't get a reply. Verizon has 10 and AT&T has 6. T-Mobile has 2. I tweeted that. He refuses to reply to me, and I'm trying to help the customers get coverage. You know what I'm saying? So, but like that's where I was looking at this is how do they market this? How do they bundle it? How do they sell it? Because I really feel like if they were to get $10 out of 1 or 2 people on a 6-person account, that's an additional $20. I mean, you do that over the course of a year for 20 million subscribers, you have yourself good money.
Right. Or 100 million subscribers. What do they have now,
Well, I'm just saying if part of an account adds that $20, right?
Right. And if you think they're going to have to, this virtualization, right? If you think about the network slicing,
sure,
how they're going to they're going to mirror their 600 megahertz 5G, except with the band 40 one will be a lot faster, more capacitive. This will be good. especially once the standalone takes off, once they get the hardware modernization projects done. I think this will be a good thing if they decided to go with it. And like I said, this is their just allows them to put more money into the network, more capital investment, and this is just a quick, easy moneymaker that they can take advantage of.
So why I see people are saying no. This is a bad move. No,
it's bad.
This is a bad move because they're customers, right? They don't want to pay.
Yeah,
but they just got a lot of spectrum in band 2, right? Band 25 and band 2 are synonymous. All right, guys, that's PCS. That's the same frequency. That will all be band 2 eventually, and in my opinion, it must be DSS. In my opinion, at some point it will be, right?
Yep.
You would be connecting to that even without the 5G add-on, right? So you're going to have larger channels of PCS. They've got the band 71. They have band 12 out there. They have band 66 out there. I mean, there's a lot of spectrum to be utilized. Don't feel bad if you're not willing to pay the $10 add-on. You would still have a good network in theory. And actually, I wanted to ask you, Tyrone, because you've been testing it. What are your thoughts and opinions on the N41 thus far in your testing? Tell us about the device. Oh, of course, he gets booted off. Come on, man.
I can share a little bit. I saw some of his speed tests.
All right, because I want to know about the range. I want to know about the is it solid connection? What's the performance like?
Well, I know for the El Paso market, right, band 41 is very extensive compared to other markets. But when you ask the question of the average speed, it is significantly better, right? It's
sure, it's faster.
around
Absolutely.
300, 400, 300, 400 Mbps average.
Right. Up to 500 to 600.
Yeah, it's really solid. But I was mentioning this to Tyrone. It's still an open network. There's not really that many people on it yet compared to the LTE network in El Paso. So in terms of range, he does say that because there's so many cell sites that have it, you pick it up in a lot of places.
So the range is not an issue where it's dense.
Right. It's not an issue in El Paso right now.
Interesting you mentioned that because the iPhones do leverage N41.
Correct. He's testing it on a 12 Pro.
Yeah, like the more clusters of towers that you have for N41, the better. See, keep in mind, like clusters work better on mid-band versus, straight up a low band, right? So if you more more clusters of towers you have on a mid-band frequency, it's like a bunch of talking mid-band heads going all around, right? It's a beautiful thing, it works. It works. So that's the goal.
Carlos chiming in. You're talking about people who are cheap and cry about $2.
So
Come on in, Carlos. Come on, man.
We're about to approach the first year, right? So 2 more years left until they can raise pricing, right, on the plans.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I'm putting this on record because you already know. Literally day 1 of the 3rd year, they're going to introduce new plans. They have to. The plans that are currently there are too low of ARPU. Too low.
Absolutely, yeah. I agree.
I think if they were to raise pricing $10 as an add-on, better than then coming in and saying each line is now $10 more as a price bump. So they may want to say to customers, get this add-on feature now before your bill goes up $10 anyways.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
What's an easier pill to swallow? Yeah.
Keep your plan now while it lasts, T-Bubble customers.
Wow. What's the realization? Like, what's the reality here? How likely is it? I mean, Moose, could you speculate on the likelihood of a $10 add-on as kind of constructed how we kind of talked it out? What's the likelihood?
I think with the existing plans, there could be a $10 add-on because remember we know that they prioritize application, right?
Yes.
Versus network slicing for the moment. If I think that they could bake it in where, let's say I pay $10 and that add-on allows me to get 4K, no more buffering, right, on videos.
Ever.
anything above 1080p 30 frames, now 1080p 60 or 4K on the LTE. But I think that they're only going to do that once a majority of the top 40 markets have it, because if you introduce it to the market and a significant amount of the population and the market share add that add-on, right? Your network performance will be impacted.
Right. That goes back to the cluster of sites I was saying earlier.
That's right. Just to give you an idea, right, Sneed, Huntington Park, California. And
we've talked about this,
we've talked
this
about
location,
this.
right?
Yeah, Zero Cool RF knows Huntington Park, California. It's a very dense area in Los Angeles. And again, even with Band 41, there's so many people there that once everybody has a 5G capable phone,
it's over.
It's over. It's done.
It's over.
What are you talking about? Don't listen to this guy. No.
I mean, Zero Cool, do you agree with that? I mean, there's so many people
it's
there.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be
there's
tough.
so many people. Like
there's like 2 million people there, and on the actual census, there's only 65,000 people that live there.
What? We're working on actually doubling capacity in that area, and as well as other areas that are like that. So we're gonna try to really hit it home, but it's a tough amount. It's tough.
Yeah, it is a tough
amount. It's a situation but that's not just an isolated incident. That's just my example because I've been there, right? There's plenty of other places.
Plenty of areas like that.
Yeah, plenty of other places in the United States where, because the municipality doesn't allow more cell sites, or the municipality doesn't allow for faster upgrades or small cells, whatever the case is, we can't get enough equipment there. That's all you can do for that area. So if all those folks, and by the way, those are the top selling markets also, right? Huntington Park, California, their retail is exploding for T-Mobile. It's always been exploding since 2016. But again, if they upsell the $10 feature, your network is just going to tank even on 5G because there's so many people that are going to have it.
See, I don't think more than 10 to 15% of the people will jump on this the first year. You know, I think it's going to kind of depend on a couple of factors. They've got to feel the tangible upgrade, right? It's got to be something they can identify, see, touch, feel. Like the experience has to be there. Like $10 add-on to my line, it's got to be better. So for me, I pay the $10 add-on for millimeter wave access on Verizon because the nodes are all over the CLE, specifically the bakery. Specifically, it also gives me 1080p video stream, actually quad HD video stream. So I got those two things out of it. I saw it as a win in the CLE. So for somebody to buy this, they must be in a strong N41 market as well, I think, right? Because it's a limited deployment now. It's okay. So you're telling me El Paso,
right?
Well, yeah, but I think they'll have like at least test markets first for this. You know, usually what happens when you trial a new plan, they'll have a test market that they're going to trial this new plan in. I hope to God that's what they do. Right. In my opinion, they really need to get this built out on a national scale quick before they even think about launching this plan. I just hope it goes well.
But you see, the thing is, Sneed, remember this: T-Mobile is a marketing genius company. They will upsell the customer that extra $10 feature. Yep. I'm telling you, I am guaranteeing it.
Well, they're upselling everything right now. We have confirmation of fees that are now being assessed that had never been assessed previously. And all I keep hearing from reps is, these things have been here, but we never had to enforce them. Now they're being attached to our store goals. So if we don't hit them, we don't make our commissions. So so that's why I keep, saying to people, I believe this is on the horizon because of the new financial culture at the new T-Mobile. It's not an opinion piece when you see it happening in a lot of different ways in the business. It just seems like a likelihood that it's going to happen, and I'm not taking shots at anyone, nor am I wishing that T-Mobile customers pay more. I'm just saying I think it's a very strong probability that this is going to happen.
I see it like this. You are reporting on the facts, The fact of the matter is they need more money coming in.
They do.
That's the facts.
In
order to expand the network sufficiently, like an El Paso everywhere, you need more money.
There's no there's no N41 in the CLE. I drive the city every day, every week. My SIM is in a Google Pixel 5. That's an N41 phone with some of the best RF you can get. Is through a Pixel device software and hardware combo.
It's shocking, isn't it?
It's not, and it's nowhere to be found. That just means it's not deployed now. I don't know if they're working on it. I don't see it. I'm like, everybody tells me about, Tyrone talks about El Paso. So El Paso, okay. Verizon has 54% market share here.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And they're not the fastest carrier. I've tested them. When I speed test the carriers, AT&T is the fastest. When I look at route metrics, it says Verizon is. They're close on the route metrics, but when I speed test them, T-Mobile tests really fast, but my video buffers. The things don't make sense, bro, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I can't get 1080p on my T-Mobile SIM. It starts fast and then it throttles down to 1.3 megs. The AT&T has a lot to be left desired on the uplink, so I can only live stream on Verizon, but Verizon occasionally gets congested. I don't know what to do. I can't win. There's no perfect carrier here.
Starlink. No, just
Starlink.
just mount the dish on your Volvizi, and it'll be good to go.
Yeah. I mean, what? So about like people that have the simple choice plans from back in the day, and the T-Mobile one.
No,
they're gonna have to get these add-ons because they're not.
Nope.
That's right.
They're gonna have to.
Screwed.
And I swear to you, bro, if I was an Essentials customer, I'd be just moving to Magenta right now. And whenever that add-on becomes available, I'd be getting it. Seriously.
Yes.
By the
You
way, I got
basically
an
Go ahead.
update regarding Sprint.
Sprint?
So yes,
Ooh.
Sprint. So I have a couple neighbors of mine that
You don't say that word around here.
Yeah. So they've been Sprint customers for 22 years. Unbelievable, the loyalty, right? But again, we go back to what we say. Hispanics are the most loyal customers in the business, okay? They stick to you. Even if you screw them over, they stick to you.
Wow.
It's crazy, but let me tell you the story. So they just moved in to the neighborhood. You know, they had Charter Spectrum for many years. Finally, they can get AT&T fiber. It's in the area. And when they were looking at their wireless, they tried to get the new iPhones through Sprint. Even through retentions, they were only giving them $400 down payment. And then they were saying, so you're telling me that I have to switch to T-Mobile first to get the promotion, which will brick my phone completely right now, number one. Number two, I have to pay $180 to even keep my phone because it's on the Sprint Flex plan. And then number three, even more ridiculous, is that they told them over the phone straight up, and this is breaking what I'm about to say.
Yeah, it's gonna break something, all right.
What I'm about to say is breaking. They told them, regardless, you will be forced to switch to T-Mobile next year.
Yeah.
Regardless, you will be forced. And they're like, we're out. We're going to AT&T. Out. They were so appalled.
I'm appalled.
They were so shocked that the customer service rep, who, by the way, was team of experts, they were literally telling them, we don't care about your loyalty. We don't care about your time here. You're going to be forced to go to T-Mobile. This is what you get. Take it or leave it. So they left.
Yeah. I don't blame them. You know, it's just.
I mean, look at how the TNX sim has played out.
Yep.
Just look at how that whole situation has played out.
It's not just that; it's more internal too. There's discussions that's you know, especially today. They're like, why are you still messing around with Sprint stuff? Why you still optimizing that? Like, come over to, you know, there's a lot of I don't like Sprint culture right now happening.
Yeah, it's really sad, dude, because these are people that have been with the company for many years, and they're being told, we don't care for your loyalty anymore. Either you switch or you're done. And they literally said, either way, just wait a month and a half. You're going to be forced to do it anyways.
Yep.
I try to tell people who were rushing out to get the what was that? The Sprint Kickstart. I told people that were for those of you that rushed out to get the $25 or $35 Kickstart from Best Buy and all that, I told you don't even bother, because you can't do anything with that line. You're gonna go into T-Mobile and say, "Let me get the new iPhone." Yeah, that'll be $1,000. What do you mean? I want to finance it. Why don't you give me a deal? Yeah, that'll be $700 down plus your trade-in. We're taking all that crap. You see what I'm saying, bro? I like, what were you thinking? What did you really think? They were going to treat you like royalty with your $25 Kickstart plan?
$25, bro.
There are people paying, bro. There's people paying taxes. They don't pay for the line is free.
Dude. This is insane. It's straight up insane.
And they're mad. And they're going to T-Mobile saying, I have my rights. No, I want to speak to my lawyer.
There ain't no rights on Kickstarter, boys.
See, the problem...
Bro, you're a peon if you got a Kickstarter plan.
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed with this transition process, now that I've helped my neighbors, right, with that, is... there's going to be multiple lawsuits, dude. Multiple lawsuits on that Sprint Flex plan, because they have already terminated their lease, right? Whatever the time frame was, I think it was 24 months, hypothetically, right? But they still have to pay $180 to get off of the service. That's mind-blowing, dude.
Yep.
That's multiple lawsuits right there, and people probably are not aware. Like they're like, oh yeah, we just have to pay a cancellation fee of $180. Damn.
They've been paying on that phone for 4.5 years.
Right. Hey, come January 1st, it's going to be even worse.
I know. They're going to be paying off their iPhone 6 Plus. Like, is this thing done
Plus
yet?
the Sprint lease.
This is crazy, bro.
Dude, this is unbelievable, bro.
It's the structure on that whole lease deal is like, what was going on, bro? See, the thing, they were getting them by coming in and saying, you don't have to pay anything right now. Heck, we'll waive your first month. Just come on down.
They were going to get their money either way, right? Right, Zero Cool?
Yeah, so when that Sprint lease first was happening, when it first launched, I used to work at Sprint as a cell phone repair guy. And when I was in that meeting, I was about ready to walk out because it was that bad. The way that they're screwing the customer was just horrible. It wasn't good.
Yeah. This is not... I always said that when I looked at the merger, I saw the network potential. That was, to me, very obvious, right? A combined network synergy setup for T-Mobile to thrive and really take advantage and leverage that network potential. But the other side was the consumer choices were going to decrease. It was going to take a while for Dish to take off, so there was always that risk of consolidation and choices. And then there was the situation of just what Sprint customers are used to is not what T-Mobile is going to be about once the merger happens. T-Mobile was going to be different once John left. We knew that in April when John left, that the company was going to change. If T-Mobile was the old T-Mobile, these Sprint customers would probably be okay, but they're not.
Maverick, are you listening?
It's over. It's over.
Why are people still on Sprint? That's what I'm blind blown.
It's over.
That's the thing that I don't understand. Steve.
It's over.
Serious, man.
It's over.
It's another
over.
one. Another one.
It's over. I literally, my hands are on Maverick's shoulders right now. It's over. No more.
But why are people still on Sprint, bro? That's the problem that I don't understand.
Well, so here's the thing. I can't blame them because what T-Mobile is forgetting, well, it's not that they don't know. Neville Ray is, he's Albert Einstein 3.0, okay? Every engineer knows in order to properly do this network integration, they actually should have and must build out their own native network first before they start shutting down Sprint.
Right.
But that's expensive. So it's shut down Sprint, then start, building out more native. Now, what that does is that alienates Sprint customers because they chose Sprint for a reason. Sprint's better than T-Mobile where they are. There are millions of customers out there who have chosen Sprint because that network works for them. Correct. And it's cheaper. Those are the only two situations. Nobody has anything personal against any one carrier. Maybe Carlos. Okay, but outside of him, nobody really has anything personal against any carrier. I'm saying that people chose Sprint because it's better where they are in that region, and now they're going to downgrade their service by being put on a T-Mobile SIM. So if T-Mobile really wanted to do the customer right, it would be have the native setups, have that stuff done, then start shutting down Sprint.
Yeah.
So let's go back a few years ago with the Metro PCS shutdown. Okay.
Because small, that scale though, that's such small scale compared to what this is.
Correct. So what would be the other, I guess, example that we could do that's at the same level?
Verizon Altel.
Okay. Can you give a little history lesson?
Well, Altel was a regional carrier.
They were.
They were in Ohio. They were in Michigan, Indiana. They were also south, I believe, in Florida, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I mean, they had their spots. They were a good, reliable network where they were. I remember when Verizon bought them out. I mean, they kept everything the same for me. And I just got a new coverage map, much larger coverage map that was now native.
The coverage map was really good, and the service was improved. I remember because I used to be an Altel customer, and there was an Altel tower that I was just trying to get some information on. That was gonna be converted over to Verizon eventually, and when it did, I was on Verizon service, and the rest is history. So. But they did it right, They made sure they had the towers ready to go.
See, that's the key, right? They were prepared, right, to have that transition. Yeah. I don't think that this is full. This could have gone a lot better for the consumer. This could have gone a lot better.
Yeah, I don't. They aren't able to because of the money limitations.
Put up Carlos's comment where he just said.
The most recent one?
Yeah.
N41 tanking here on T-Mobile side, testing it. Same tower was 380, now 82 in peak. Yeah, so it's what is that likely a 40 or a 60 megahertz channel? Zero cool?
I don't know where that's probably gonna be a 60 megahertz channel where he's at.
Hi, man.
Hey,
I need to go to sleep.
Why aren't you sleeping? Why is your mouth so dirty? Were you eating candy? Go clean up. Go clean up a little bit. Go clean up. Why are you chewing bubble gum? Get out of here.
No.
Get a cavity.
It was actually a gumball. Boot has a gumball machine from Chuck E. Cheese. We go to Chuck E. Cheese before with him.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, see you later. Bye. Gumball machine.
All the fun stuff, man.
I know, gumball machine. Thanks, man. Good night. Yeah, man. You know what? I don't know what to do about the N41 situation. I can't comment. I have no connectivity to it. I can't offer my insight. I can't tell you about range. That's the one thing I wish I could offer people. But there's nothing within driving distance. I got that update that said that it was in Brooklyn, Ohio. I looked in Brooklyn, Ohio, so I'm going to go and check. I didn't see it on Cell Mapper, so nobody's mapped it yet. I wonder if it's even on. I don't know. So I'm going to have to check. It's 60 megahertz, says Carlos. All right. Maybe they need 80 megahertz there. I don't know. Would that help? Zero cool RF if it was 80?
I mean, it would, but then here's the problem. It goes back to density again. You need to have enough sites. You can't just have one or two towers in an area and call it good. You have to have handoffs, legitimate handoffs, that deliver the throughput that you need when you're driving on the road.
10 of them, 20 of them.
Yeah, like
They got to do segments.
You want an N41 network? I'm flying out to California in February. We'll go, dude. We'll make it happen, and I'll show you an N41 network from Sprint.
Yeah. Backhaul is 10 gig here on all sites.
Yeah.
That's a limitation?
No, that's not the limitation. It's just where it's at now. That's what the backhaul.
Well, what's the expectation? I feel like that's a market standard now at this point.
That's fine.
10. Right.
That's 10 gigs fine.
Mm-hmm.
You just again need clusters of sites.
Yeah.
Eventually, it will be 40 gig backhaul for most sites.
Even
40 to 50, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even every other tower site won't do. You know,
Right.
like if you're really going to do the cluster scenario, it's not every other won't do.
No, it won't.
No. Especially, I'm assuming. So Carlos says he's in Scottsdale. Is that a known Sprint market? Like they're the ones over there?
I know Phoenix is.
Okay. All right. So maybe Arizona's like a Sprint state or something.
Sprint has good service in Arizona, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Phoenix and
Tito.
Yuma.
Yeah, Tito used to
Yuma.
really big up on Boost back in the day, and he's an Arizona native, so
right.
that kind of makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need N41 to hit 383. No radio. Why are you always doing this, bruh? Why are you always coming in here flexing? You know, always flexing like you don't need that. Come on, bro. We need it. We need the 2.5, bro. What was this merger about? So we could squat on it. What do you think? This is Charlie Ergen, bro? Come on now. Come on, man. Yo, look, we're doing the after party on Periscope. And NR, you better show up, bro, because you're going to get it, bro. You're going to get it. It was a big Sprint market in Arizona, the whole state. Okay. Yeah, man. Do you guys think we got to everything? I thought we had a pretty good discussion. I liked what we got to. You know, these are interesting topics. I think I stand by my couple of takes today about the FCC and Ajit Pai dropping the ball, and I think they're up to no good. I'm serious. I mean that, bro. Ajit Pai he's garbage can residue. Okay, I'm serious, bro. He's garbage can juice. All right, you know when you take the bag out, bro, and it's dripping. Like seriously, dude is a scumbag, bro. He's a sleazeball. All right, he's a Verizon lawyer, dog. Come on, dog. That's the DNA.
He's playing for your favorite carrier, though.
Bro, come on. I'm AT&T today, dog.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he doesn't have the red. He doesn't have the red sweatshirt on. My bad.
Oh my god, bro. And honestly, you know, with the 2.5 gigahertz fast 5G midband situation, I feel strongly like that's a thing that will.
I hope they do it.
That will happen, and I ain't mad as long as we see an improved network. I mean, what do you want better than that? I mean, what if Verizon just said to you, sorry, there's a 3% increase to your bill this month and moving forward? You could frame it that way too.
Yeah.
You know, AT&T, hey, our property taxes are due this month. Sorry, you know, this is going to show up on your bill.
Oh, man. Money.
Buzzing. All right.
If you think about it, man, think about it. T-Mobile has over 100 million customers now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do the math really quick. 100 million multiplied by even 20 cents. Woo, money.
Big money.
Huge money.
John Stanky showing up at your door. I need this.
$20 million. $20 million, dude. Just like that.
I'm telling you, bro, Hans Vestberg it's gonna be the day before Thanksgiving, bro. He's gonna go to all the poorest parts of town at Hoboken and around New Jersey. He's gonna be handing out turkeys, bro. He's gonna be Nino Brown from New Jack City. Watch, you know, and he's gonna be winning the hearts of everybody there.
Right.
And he's gonna be wearing those Euro pants with the now and later Gators on, bro. The skinny jeans,
Gator shoes.
right? And the way he says 5G, bro, 5G. You know, he's got that German accent.
Sneed, let me ask you this. Totally different than the 3 topics that we we're talking about. But
sure, random fire, bro.
Between now and the end of the year, what do you expect? Zero Cool, also to you, the question. What do you expect from the carriers to either introduce, or is it going to just be everything that we see in the market right now is what it is?
Phone deals. I think it's going to be just the phone promotions for now. I don't think we're going to see any plan changes or anything like that. I think Verizon's got big things planned for February. I'll go on the record and predict February. I know it's coming. I just feel like they do stuff in February when it's quiet. So, you know, they did that with the Hulu Disney bundle. They came out when T-Mobile was paralyzed. When T-Mobile was absolutely paralyzed and stuck, and they responded with T-Vision and home internet expansion several weeks later. So they got them there. And AT&T's been working through the debt. I mean, surprisingly, still making tremendous moves, having a tremendous quarters. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be status quo for wireless with the exception of the deals for phones. And I wanted to make a prediction after Caleb's done. And then I'll go on the record on a prediction about something totally different. But Zero Cool F, go ahead, bro.
I do agree with you. I think it's going to be the status quo. I think we're going to see a lot of holiday promotions for phones. I'm excited about that because, you know, I'm planning on, giving some family members a couple iPhones. So I think it'd be good. You know, I really want the carriers to go all out on the holiday promotions. I want to see something bigger than what has been in the past.
Right.
I don't want the whole BOGO, buy one get one. I want something better than that. I want deep discounts. I want better something. You know, maybe free phones or I don't know. Who knows? You know. I also want something more towards if they can do promotions for businesses as well during the holidays. I think that'll be great as well. So.
Tom Verizon has the most user-friendly website of all the carriers. I don't know what this guy is talking about, bro. I've used all the websites. AT&T's is a nightmare. T-Mobile's is plain Jane. It's just a little bit of pink spilled on a white page. And Verizon's is literally granular and it works. I don't know what he's talking about. My prediction.
Yes.
Oh, you guys are gonna like this. Okay, doing the Birdman thing with the rubs the hands. All right, so peep this out. I've gone ahead and predicted this weeks ago. I'm gonna stand by it. On standalone 5G, Verizon will have the first national 100 megahertz channel of mid-band 5G. Yeah. I know that T-Mobile has the ammunition, but it's not going to be national because they can't build it with the money they're spending. So it's not going to be national, like real national, okay? And Verizon's is going to make it consumer fast. Because we're talking about consumer network right now. Here's why I have completely changed my thought on what they're going to buy in C-band. They're not going to buy as much as we think. They're not. And the reason I'm going to say this, I truly believe they know this, and I think a lot of us probably feel and sense this. CBRS will become high power. It's going to start transmitting macro and go high power.
Yes.
Okay. So let's throw that into this. I'm going to say that they get the whole entire 100 megahertz in those top 50 markets. They're going to take that. And they're going to say, we're good. And here's why. There's 100 more megahertz of CBRS coming next year. They don't need more C-band if that CBRS is coming. It's 3.5. C-band is 3.7. It'll propagate the same. Okay? But the reason I'm saying they're going to be satisfied with this for now, for the next 2 years, millimeter wave onslaught is going to continue. They're not doing capacity with C-band. They're doing enough capacity. It's going to be fast as hell for consumers. Millimeter wave is going to be their enterprise private network focus. And they're going to blow the streets and the poles and the power lines.
Yep.
They're going to absolutely go ham with millimeter wave. It still is going to be the difference maker in networking moving forward. I don't care what anybody says. You all, the 113 people in here and myself, we're consumers of wireless. We are consumer grade access customers. That's not who millimeter wave is only for. Millimeter wave is for enterprise.
The glass and the trees.
Yeah, I know. The leaves. I know. Watch out for the leaf. There goes my signal. Bro, I'm telling you, there's 280 megahertz in C-band. Verizon will walk away with 100 and say we're good. And they would rather build out 10,000 nodes in a city than to buy more C-band, because they know mid-band can only do so much and only has to do so much. It does not have to do gigabit speed. That is for millimeter wave to do. Mid-band is not for gigabit speed. I repeat, it is not. It is for capacity for consumers. That is it. Enterprise is millimeter wave. I'm seeing Amazon Web Services. I'm seeing Pokemon. I'm seeing healthcare services. The only people getting deals are Verizon. That is the only company capitalizing on enterprise contracts right now. You don't like it? Good luck. Sucks to suck. That's your problem. I'm telling you what it is. Enterprise, the only company locking in deals right now is Verizon. And they're the only ones doing millimeter wave big. That is a blatant and obvious indicator. Spoiler alert, Verizon's going to win enterprise. Spoiler alert, Verizon's going to be the one building private networks. AT&T will too, but they're behind.
Yeah, and keep in mind the CBRS will be a lot cheaper next year than just buying all 100 megahertz past what the C-band would be. They can easily deploy that CBRS a lot more effectively than a C-band would be on a telephone poles, right? Because the application process and the testing goes by a lot easier. And also, you're right about the millimeter wave game. The mid band now is going to be like how low band is like about 5 or 10 years from now.
The tower sites are starting to. The grid's getting heavy. The grid's getting
dense.
Think
about how heavy the grid will be and how many more devices and how it's gonna the 5G or 6G or whatever the heck is coming out. It's gonna rule our lives. So the mid band, it's just gonna be like how the low band will be about 10 years time, but it's gonna be a lot faster, obviously, than the low band. But that's just how you gotta treat it. So, but millimeter wave is gonna be fantastic. 10 years from now.
Bro, we're talking about 800 megahertz channels.
Exactly.
You guys know what we're talking about here? Like, we're literally going to... Well, hear me out on this. There's going to come a quarter where T-Mobile's Ookla speed tests are going to be, like, insanely fast, right?
Like 10 gig.
Yeah, it's going to be... No, so like T-Mobile, right? They're going to launch a bunch of mid-band 2.5 gigahertz in a market, and they're going to blow the testing out the water. And then they're going to offer 5G home internet there over 2.5. And the speeds are going to go like it's going to go from median 400 to median 150. Seriously.
Yep.
Now listen to me. That's not bad. That's expected. It's home internet. That's going to happen. That will not happen to Verizon's network because they're going to have C-band for consumer. And they're going to have millimeter wave for consumer, home internet, and enterprise. You want to talk about a smart 5G plan? I know they don't have the mid-band now, but I know what the plan is. I don't need to hear them say it. I can see it. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't listen to what carriers say. They tell you what they want you to know. They're not going to tell you what they're really thinking or what they're really doing. That would be stupid. Why would you give away trade secrets?
A while back, there was a good article from a really good investigative company that they said, what are the implications of the Sprint T-Mobile deal to Verizon and AT&T and Dish? And they said that Verizon needed 200 megahertz nationwide to be able to compete with T-Mobile. They said for AT&T, they needed 100 additional megahertz of spectrum to compete with T-Mobile at the current spectrum position. Now, since then, Verizon has added between 30 and 40 megahertz of CBRS spectrum to their portfolio in some markets. So then that means that they still need 160. Now, we know that millimeter wave is amazing. We know how it propagates now on the Ericsson radios. It's solid. But
Samsung radios.
Samsung as well, yes. But you still need additional midband. So in my opinion, I believe that Verizon, after speaking to my guy, internal source, Verizon, the smile that I have on my face, man, when I'm telling you this, we know, and he has acknowledged that, yes, they need to spend a lot of money because they know AT&T's bringing out the money bags. And I was like, how the hell do you know this? And then he told me this. He's like, just look at what they said on the earnings call. They have repositioned debt to make it 20, 25, 30 years out. So that the short term, the cash that they got from, the recent sales, boom. Now I was reading into the article for Dish. Dish needed to get a significant amount of CBRS. They got what, 15, 20 megahertz nationwide?
National,
correct. At the same time, the report was saying that Dish might end up partnering with either Verizon or AT&T or both and have that universal SIM that TracFone was thinking about doing, and they are doing it because they're like, it doesn't make sense for them to spend big money and to roll out the network and to do this. They're way behind. The investment or the investigation company that was mentioning this, they were like, Dish is not going to become a player whatsoever. They're not in the traditional sense. They might go into the Ratican, right? From Japan. I always say it differently.
Yeah, it's Rakuten.
Rakuten. They could do it that way.
Yeah.
But
we'll talk on that too.
But Verizon will have to spend money, man. They have to. Big money.
But I think it's overstated the urgency because I'm looking at their millimeter wave deployment. It is absurd. Like, they're not playing around. They just covered an entire suburb of the CLE. It's the first western suburb from downtown. It's smothered with nodes everywhere. They've got the installations down to $20,000. That's cheap.
Amazingly cheap.
$20,000 to put up those Samsung panels, those antennas, those nodes. It's cheap.
It's really cheap, and keep in mind,
and it's up in a week.
Yeah, they're going pretty fierce, pretty quickly. But with the whole C-band auction with mid-band, especially with the CBRS added, having mid-band handoffs, right, and mid-band capacity, especially in buildings, is so key versus what low band was doing now. You know, when you're traveling down the road and you're switched from a one low band to low band or something, right? Imagine your throughput on a mid band frequency. You'll be able to, especially when you get clusters of towers having C band, where you'll be able to transverse 300 to 400 megabyte speed on a handoff. Mm-hmm. Okay, versus a low band 30 to 60 or what have you, right? Big difference. So
no, here, Zachary, Verizon is not doing LAA on the millimeter wave nodes. Not from what I've seen in the CLE. I will say that AT&T is doing a pretty nice job with their CRAN setups that also have millimeter wave, which they are adding LAA. Band 46. Yeah, they're adding band 46 to them. They're doing like
Mhm.
either 2 or 3 carriers of band 46 Moose.
Yeah, some are 2, but I think they're pushing to 3.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. The costs that have come down drastically, 20,000. I mean, dude, that's amazing. $20,000.
It's down under 20,000. He literally told me 17 to 18,000 estimated by the end of this year.
Beautiful, man. Because if we can get the deployment cost of a millimeter wave site, mini site in a neighborhood, it will expand drastically faster. Because remember what we were talking about last year? One antenna was $150,000. Just one antenna.
Those days are gone.
Yeah, it's now much cheaper.
Yeah, those days are gone. They've got it down to 10% of that.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's 10% of that, and that's why Samsung got the deal.
Exactly. It's unbelievably amazing. And then
Samsung was able to leverage what Nokia couldn't do.
Oh yeah, Nokia's done, man. I'm so sad to say, but Nokia's done.
So Sebi, let me go back to this. So when I said that T-Mobile's speeds would drop dramatically, if they were averaging 350 megabits in areas with a lot of N41, and then they started doing the home internet and it dropped to 150 average, that's still good for consumer wireless. That's fine. I'm just saying you would notice that speed drop. Like it would show in a quarter's length, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not picking on T-Mobile. I'm saying they want to leverage it because they need more revenue. So selling the 5G home service is smart, and they should do it. They have the capacity to do it. Wherever they have 100 megahertz, 120 megahertz, they need to do it. That would be stupid not to leverage it. That's what that spectrum was for. It was for capacity.
Yep. It will happen. It'll get done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful.
But I'm telling you guys, there are going to be some crappy performances from T-Mobile in certain markets. They're going to continue to have coverage issues. Everything we keep hearing is capacity. There's no talk about coverage.
Speed islands. That's what Tyrone says. Speed islands.
If you're a T-Mobile customer now and you're begging for coverage gaps to be filled,
4 years, 5 years. 6?
Okay.
Wow. 6
2025, bro. Well, look, how I told you, I'm serious, bro. When I made
you did.
They when they signed 44-month lease agreements for 600 megahertz, that's how long it's going to take them to build out the mid-band.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Why are you signing 42-month deals if you're so confident your 2.5 build? Where they do that at, bro? What do you want? 800 megahertz of band 71? Get out of here, bro. What is that? What'd you do the merger for? To sign lease deals with Columbia Capital? What?
Yep.
What?
It's gonna take him a while.
44 months.
A while.
Oh, I have a video that I'm doing this week at the bakery. I will be connecting all of my devices to the hotspot on millimeter wave. And we're going to see what type of capacity. Nice. So it's going to be a cool, fun video. I'm going to connect like a laptop, Yasmin's iPad, all 5 of my phones. What else can I bring? You got something I could borrow, bro? Send me something, bro. Send me any extra phones you have that have Wi-Fi. Just send them out to me. Any phones you don't use anymore. If it's got Wi-Fi, send them out. I'm going to connect as many phones at the same time via hotspot. My phone's going to cook, bro. I'm going to put it on an ice pack. I'm going to put it on literally on an ice pack, bro. And we're going to keep this thing in a freaking cooler, dude.
Do you think it's really going to be that hot?
I do.
Damn.
I do.
I mean,
because
we did that millimeter wave testing with Carlos on one of the streams that he connected more than 10 devices, and it's really nice. But mid-band, that's what I love to see. I think that's a great test. I like to see that just to see what the throughput's going to be.
Because the last time I did it, I connected 4 devices. My on-device speed before I started was 1.3 gigs, and then all 4 devices had at least 250 megs. So like one was 250, one was 380, one was 270. Like they all got over 250, right? So I now the bakery is doing like 2 gigs. They did an upgrade. I don't know if they widened the channels. They added another 100 megahertz or whatever, but it's doing over 2 gigs now. It's doing like 2.1, 2.3. the nodes around the bakery. So, yeah.
That's so cool.
Wow. What about inside the bakery? Is it doing more than a gig now?
No.
300?
Inside, if I'm at the garage area, I can pull the signal and get 280 megabits per second.
Right.
I mean, that's not bad, bro. In the bakery.
Right.
If I'm at the front of the bakery by the glass doors, it cuts in and out. I can't hold it well enough, but come on, bro. I mean, the node is you would walk out the door, turn the corner, and it's behind the building. So the beamforming tech is actually really impressive. Like, I'm talking about no line of sight here.
Right, exactly.
This node is around the corner, being blocked by an apartment building that we rent to this local family. We've got there's 2 rentals upstairs.
Let me ask you this: do you have any...
wind?
I know, but Lionel, there's glass.
Let me ask you this: do you have any predictions on the network before I share my predictions about what's going to happen in 2021? Let's just do first quarter.
T-Mobile's going to have some really fast markets. T-Mobile's going to have some really fast markets. Ookla speed tests are going to look good. People are going to stop saying that Root Metrics is paid by Verizon, and they're going to start celebrating Root Metrics because they're going to say that T-Mobile's fast.
Right.
So I'm going to predict that all of a sudden T-Mobile's going to be winning. So now Root Metrics will be objective. They're going to let T-Mobile win, right? I also think AT&T is going to continue to improve their network. I think we're going to see some new DSS action out of them. I think we're due. I think we're due for some N2, N66 action.
Yes.
So I have a couple of predictions. Q1, all major carriers will have fully standalone deployed. Within Q1, there will also be every single spectrum band DSS because the X60 will be coming out. Right?
The X60 is a game changer, bro.
And also, the other key thing that I'm going to say is this. There will be a significant push in millimeter wave by both top 2 carriers.
Yeah, T-Mobile's going to continue to put the millimeter wave on the back burner. I don't think they're going to address that for 3 years, maybe. Maybe 2023 they start dabbling. 2021 is not going to be a year for T-Mobile millimeter wave.
An update for the millimeter wave for T-Mobile. We're putting them in football stadiums, buildings, stuff like that. That's where it's
so they're gonna so I need to when I think about T-Mobile's millimeter wave, I have to shift out of Verizon mode.
Yeah,
I have to get out of Verizon mode because Verizon's putting them everywhere. So T-Mobile's not going to do that, and they shouldn't.
No.
Right? Their focus is mid-band, and I get it. So my bad. I gotta you gotta help me out sometimes. Zero Kill turn off the Verizon, because Verizon's ultra wideband is different than everybody else's millimeter wave.
Yeah.
It really is different. It's unique, bro, because they've got beamforming going for them. Right? I can't wait to see these repeaters going on. And it's a good connection for millimeter wave. All things considered, I don't see the nodes and I'm connected to them. That's not supposed to be how it happens. The textbook story on millimeter wave is you need line of sight. That is not true anymore.
We have an update really quickly in regards to 14.3 beta 2. It seems like finally on the iOS app, it shows what 5G you're connected to, whether it's NSA or SA. It's a really good update.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Any other predictions, since we're all being Nostradamuses?
I do believe that T-Mobile will push at minimum 2,500 new sites next year, minimum, because remember their reports that came out, the 2 different 15-year contracts, right? So I do believe that they will do at minimum 2,500 cell sites, new cell sites next year. That's not including the relocations. So if they are doing relocations, it is going to cut down in those 2,500. So actual new sites, who knows what it's going to be. I do believe that T-Mobile will increase their, additional carrier ads like N41, N71 on certain sites if they have the money for that market. Or, for example, let's say if El Paso is done, they're going to move to the next market, right?
Yeah.
I believe that Verizon is going to be modernizing their network in the first half of the year. So what I mean by that is every single cell site will be touched, both backhaul wise, panel wise, latest equipment, millimeter wave, all that, right? Next year, I have a prediction for AT&T that they're going to push coverage to the next level, because from the FirstNet website, they mentioned that they have a targeted goal, right, of 2025 to cover the majority of the United States, pretty much everywhere. So in order to make that happen, they have to cover places where they have never had coverage before. So I'm predicting closer to 4,000 to 5,000 new cell sites next year, just AT&T.
New coverage areas?
4,000 to 5,000 new cell sites next year, only because the majority of the network has already been upgraded. So that money for upgrades, spectrum ads, etc., will go to new cell sites.
My prediction for Q2 of next year is Band 41 clusters from T-Mobile at 800 megabyte downlink throughput on average. Yeah.
No argument here, dude. I like that prediction. I think that's going to happen in a lot of places.
Yes, sir.
I think it's going to happen in a lot of places.
Look out for LA. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I think Philadelphia, LA,
Yes.
New York, they're going to focus on those areas.
Yep.
I'm telling you guys, if you're in a place where T-Mobile is slow and it's not a top market, it's going to be a while. And if you're in an area that doesn't have native T-Mobile coverage, this is going to hurt. But you ain't going to get any love for a long time. But where it's going to be fast, it's going to be really fast. It's going to make sense for people in certain cities to have T-Mobile, all things considered.
Yep.
Like if you live in Philly, LA, like once they get all the, yeah, you should have T-Mobile. It's going to have the most capacity. Your network's going to be fast. Now they just got to get rid of that video throttle thing.
Yes.
Right? They get that going and we're cool,
Yep.
I might throw them a little money, I might pay my bill.
Let me ask you this. Nate. Do you feel like consumers switch because of speed, or do they switch because of reliability? Because I don't think that the marketing of being the fastest actually does anything to move the needle.
It's coverage for me. I mean,
Okay.
I think most people's.
I've told you guys time and time again, if I speed test all three carrier networks, Verizon tests the slowest in the CLE. But it is still the best in the CLE. It's the only one that I can live stream from without dropping. It's the only one that loads up a video fast every time. It's the only one that I don't get video buffer. So the speed on the speed test does not matter. Public service announcement. I'm looking at all of you. Speed tests don't matter because I can't live stream on T-Mobile. And I ran the speed test. It was 160 down, 58 up, and it crashed. Speed tests do not matter. They are a measure of capacity, and if the network gives priority to that app, it's fool's gold. It's lies.
Right.
It's Nicki Minaj's chest. It's false. It's pseudo. It's fake. You got to use it and then make a decision if you think it's good. You have to use it. End of story. You have to.
Yeah. Like, do like real world testing. Like, load up some videos. Like, do it, how you would normally use a phone. Don't always rely on a speed test app to give you real world performance.
Speed test doesn't matter. It's cool. It's nice. I could speed test. Look, I'll run a speed test right now on Verizon. I'm in the basement. This is good to know. I'm in a brick basement. This is where the lab is. And then here's a speed test. This is cool, right? It's good to know what it would do on. Okay. All right, cool.
That's
really good to know. Verizon can get 80, 90, 100 megabits per second in a basement, in a brick basement. That's good to know. Okay. Look, it even has uplink. That's not easy to do in a basement, to have usable uplink. Okay? It's bricks all over me. It's bricks all over the place. Here's AT&T. Here's AT&T. A tower site that's the same distance on the opposite side. Okay?
Hey, wait. Everybody in the chat, put hashtag "there's bricks all over me."
Yeah. I'm just dropping bricks on me, dog. Okay, here's AT&T. Same basement. You guys just saw my Verizon test. It's usable. I could do everything with 40 megabits per second. It doesn't need to be 200. It doesn't need to be 400. It does not matter. I can load a quad HD video on this. Quad HD. AT&T will let me do a 4K video on this if I wanted to. That's nice. Verizon will let me do a quad HD video as well. I can't do that with T-Mobile here. So I can't use them in Sneed's lab. You have to use what works for you. And you have to use it. You can't just do it off a speed test, right? You actually have to use it. I'm telling you guys, I could watch, what is that, Costa Rica or Blue Planet, bro? The frogs with the, all that crazy high definition, bro. I can do that, bro.
Yes, that's the best video too. Look it up on YouTube. It's the best.
I'm gonna load up the freaking frogs, bro. They're gonna be shooting the tongue out, bro. Eating eating all the smaller frogs and all the insects, bro.
Yeah,
man. Speed tests are nice, but I don't like getting 1.3 megabits per second on fast.com. All right, I don't like my video buffering and stuff. I don't want to show the T-Mobile speed test, because if I show the T-Mobile speed test, they're going to say I sabotaged it and I'm trying to make T-Mobile look bad. Sneed trying to make T-Mobile look bad, man. Sneed be hating on T-Mobile, dog. No, I don't watch Sneed no more, man. He's a T-Mobile hater, man.
The blue Adidas, I swear.
Man, Sneed monetized by Verizon, bro. Nah, man. I'm going to Reddit. Nah, man. I'm going to Reddit, dog. Here's T-Mobile.
What's the loading for?
We're going to be here a while.
What's the loading for, bro?
I don't know. It says 2 bars LTE.
What the heck's going on?
I don't think that T-Mobile service is fixed yet in the CLA from the time I told you. Just letting you know.
Wow.
Hey, give it till the weekend and then try again.
Now, if I switch it to Sprint, it works.
Yes.
Oh, I got it. I got a server. Okay.
Wow. So it's unusable.
AT&T's on the same site.
And this is why the speed test app is just don't measure it. It's fallacy.
If I shake this thing, no. But guys, like if I move it to Sprint, it'll work. So actually, I might be able to help some people out there. If you have better Sprint service where you are than T-Mobile, if you have a Pixel at least, go to Network and Internet. Pick your network, take it off go to advanced and go to, instead of automatically select network, uncheck that. And then you can select your network. You can actually select Sprint. And the way that you select Sprint, I think it's 311-490. What is that called? That number?
That's your TAC.
Yeah. Switch your tech to 311 490. It puts you on sprint. Watch this. Let's do some sprint speed testing, dog. Look at that, dog. Look at that, dog. Yeah. Sprint doing it, dog. Yeah. And the sprint site's actually behind the AT&T and T-Mobile site.
Nice.
Band 25, dog.
That's good speed, by the way, for band 25.
The 15 megabits? I bet you
Yeah.
nobody's on it.
Probably
Zero
only
club. Yeah. So now I got signal down here. Woohoo! Anything else for the good of the order, gents?
No.
All right. Next time you guys come to the CLE, stakes on me.
Yeah.
Bricks on me. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. Moose, thanks for coming on, broski.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks for everything. Thanks for contributing. Zero Cool RF, you know you're the big homie, bro. Thank you so much for being on, man.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated.
Hey, if you got a moment after the show, if I could call you, we could chat about the your recommendation for the thing for the mic, the interface. We can talk about
sure.
the interface.
Yeah, certainly.
Cool.
Yep.
So I'll give you a buzz in a little bit. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting the SMT. I don't think I got any super chats tonight, so I don't have to thank anybody for that, but I will thank you for being here. I want to thank you guys for liking this video. If you did, if you haven't, please do that now. Share it to your socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Don't share it to Reddit. I'd appreciate it if you didn't. Thank you very much. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the patrons. Thank you for supporting productions on the Patreon side. And Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone, for coming on. I don't know what happened. I'm sure something very delicious showed up at his door or something. I don't know. So, all right. We out this piece, guys. All right. Peace.
Peace.